Daymond John here on the Rich Eisen Show. Tell me about DaymondOnDemand.com.
So DaymondOnDemand.com is my new interactive digital platform where people can learn about entrepreneurship, those who are starting companies. I put on there, basically, I put in there $20 million worth of my mistakes. I can't travel the world all the time and talk to everybody, but this is a digital platform. It's an educational platform where people can go on and they can understand the difference between a trademark, a patent, what's distribution, how to create a pitch, what type of loans you should get, then how to open a company and legal and everything else they need right there. And we keep uploading it like apps.
Sure, because I mean that has to be part of the roadblock for a lot of people, Daymond, to start is that they just don't know how, and that blocks them from even attempting it because they don't know
and that's the biggest problem, because a lot of people don't realize the number one reason why small businesses and startups fail is overfunding. They think they need $100,000 to start a business, and then they get the $100,000 and they spend $20,000 on a website when it should have been $1,000 on a Facebook page, and they buy 6 patents when you can get around those patents, and you should have just had one trademark. A trademark is more valuable than a patent. So a lot of this stuff is in there for people to hopefully go ahead and help start business, or even people in business. So they need to understand these things.
And then there's the case of LeVar Ball that everybody in the sports world is talking about right now with Lonzo. He may be the #1 overall pick in the NBA draft, but he hasn't played a single minute in the NBA. And his dad has gone to Nike and Under Armour and Adidas saying, instead of you making a shoe for my son, you need to launch my brand.
Right.
And you need to call it my brand.
Yeah.
And they all told him £1 sand, so he's now created the Big Baller brand.
Yeah.
But his son hasn't even set foot in the NBA hardcourt yet, and charging almost $500 worth of shoes, which is, Brockman, how much more is that than the Jordan shoes that came out years ago to start off the Jordan brand?
Oh, yeah, the Jordan brand shoes started like $65, which would have been $145 today.
In today's business.
There's a fine line that he's playing with this. First of all, I get it. He's going to go and, launch his kid's brand before everybody. But, shoes are challenging, right? First of all, there's a bunch of different sizes, and they are built like cars. So if you're buying a shoe for $500 and you're having a minimum of whatever, 1,000 pair come over from overseas.
Yes.
These things better be well made at $500. Now, he has 2 things. If he doesn't sell many of them, he doesn't have to tell anybody. If he sells out of all of them, that's a proof of concept to Nike and Adidas and all those people. But it's just a big gamble in making a shoe from scratch. And if you just go buy a shoe that's already out there in China and you stamp it, people are going to know. So, it can go either way, but I'm not mad at the initiative he's taking. Maybe that's why he's charging $500 a piece, because maybe they're some kind of custom-made shoe that he's getting.
Well, we're all talking about it. So you think you would suggest that would be his long-term play, is to prove success and still go to the shoe companies that told him
Absolutely.
to pound sand?
He definitely has to just do it for 6 months to a year, take in pre-orders, build the best shoe he can, put out only 100, 200, 300, and then after that, then he can go to the Nike and whoever in the world and say, this is how old my customer is, this is how many units I sold, this is how much they're willing to pay, this is how much they're not willing to pay, these are the colors that work, do all the research for them. So it's a good gamble. I probably don't disagree with him, but he has to be careful. If he starts to overextend himself and then say, hey, I'm going to build a big shoe company, that may be challenging.
Yeah, it's more, he's made sandals for $225 a piece, kids' shirts for $40, and then when people brought up the fact that this is pretty expensive, he said that if you can't afford this, then you're not a big baller. So he's even branding it by throwing it out there. I mean, that's
that's a little raw. That's a little in your face. Because honestly, I'm a big baller. I promise you that. But I'm not paying $500 for shoes. So,
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.
If you like that, download our app. Please, just if it's a memory thing, just delete other apps. You don't need those apps. This app, the Rich Eisen Show app, you need that.